What is going on, guys? Rannerz here. Today is the much anticipated defending tutorial. So if you guys watched my last year's defending tutorial, you know this is a real deal. You know this is some good stuff. So normally I don't go over the controls, I just get into the gameplay. But I said, you know what, it's the start of the year, we might have a lot of new faces in the FIFA scene. So I'll just go over controls quickly. Plus, you know, the hard stand tackle is a new feature this year, so go over it, talk about it a little bit. If you guys want to just get into the actual tutorial and helping, I'll leave a timestamp in the description, so just go down, click that. So if we can break I'm gonna go 300 likes on this defending tutorial, I'll have an attacking tutorial out for you guys sometime this week. So go like the video, do it, thank you. So I'm just gonna quickly go over these tutorials or controls here. So stand tackle, be a circle, pretty straightforward. Now the new control this year is the hard stand tackle, which is basically if you blended a slide tackle and a stand tackle together. So it's not quite a slide tackle, but it's more risk and reward than the stand tackle. So you do win the ball back more if you land that tackle, but your player will recover slower from it. So if you miss, you're in trouble. So you want to use that kind of further up the pitch. But then if it's like a one-on-one, a center back against a striker, you don't want to be doing that, because if you miss it, he's just going to walk straight past you and score. Then of course you got the slide tackle, extra square, second man press, which I have in brackets useless because it is just useless. There's like a very rare occasion that it might be semi-useful, but because the second man just doesn't go anywhere near the ball, whatever reason, please fix it, EA, thank you. It's kind of useless. Player switch, so you got the L1 LB, and you should have the indicator on so you know which player that will switch to, because there's times where, you know, even if you're good at right stick switching, it's better to do the L1 LB switch if you know it's going to be the player you want. Then the player switch directional is the right stick, which you need to learn, especially this year. If you're not using right stick at all, bro, you're costing yourself probably, I'd say, about 4 to 5 games per week in league. Especially this year, because you have to be able to track runs fast, and you can't do that using L1 LB. You have to be able to use right stick. Contain is A or X. I don't really do this, so this kind of mirrors your opponent's movement, but it's not that good anymore. It used to be good like a few years ago, but now it's just not the one. And then jockey is what you want to be using a lot, in my opinion. There is some people that feel like jockey is just bad and you shouldn't be using it, but I find it really good. And I use it literally all in the gameplay I'm going to show you, and I just lock down my opponents. And this is with my Road to Glory team, so I don't even have... This is without my Van Dijk and Varane. Don't worry, I'm not doing tutorials with my main team. I'm using... I've classed them in an Alaba for this, I'm pretty sure. So, like, they are still pretty good, but I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get them, especially after the rivals placement. And then, last but not least, triangle wide, bring out the goalkeeper. You shouldn't really use it that much this year because chips are pretty overpowered. But yeah, anyways, that was just me flying through the controls. But let's just get into the tutorial. So before we get into the tutorial, I'll just cover my team real quick. As you can see, it's on screen. It's the 200k team from the squad builder. I'll quickly show you how it lines up in game. You know, the custom tactics, you know the vibe. So Dembele striker, Teixeira left, Talisca central, Troy right, Spitz attacking CDM, Polina defensive CDM, Jordi Alba left and right back. Stay back. Done. Alright, defending tutorial time. Before we get into it, I want to quickly give a mention to my Patreon, which is down in the link below, where you can get extra video tutorials. I don't often promote it, but I've got good attacking tutorial and defending tutorials that are a little more specific than this video would be. So if you want to support me and improve the game, link for that is down below. So this team we're playing, it's a Div 1 game that I recorded a few days ago, so it was back when Div 1 wasn't flooded with players. And you're going to see me keep a clean sheet in Div 1 with my Road to Glory. Now, that team isn't insane, but it's still good, you know. You've got to like it. Aubameyang is a decent team, and he was a solid player. But I'm going to show you guys how to lock him down, how you can lock down most people. I would say this will work for probably 2100 skill rating and lower. I like 2200. You would need a little bit more advanced stuff, but we'll briefly just basically go through this. And the main thing I wanna go through in this video is whether it's worth tracking the run, and that's half of FIFA 21. is it worth tracking the run? That's the number one question you need to be asking on defense. And did I score here? Oh, I choked that so bad. I should have shot earlier. So you're gonna be thinking, do I track the run? Okay, so here we've got him just chilling with the ball. That's cool. So now a lot of people, right, might switch to Alaba right here, okay? You don't want to be doing that. You want to keep your CDMs as much as you can. So the thing is, if you drag out center backs, always it's bad. But specifically this year, just one true ball in behind and you are pretty much in big trouble. So you want to stay as your CDMs as much as you can. Now you're thinking, so the two questions are, do you need to track the run? Do I need to switch player? Okay? That'll help you for nearly everything. So if you're just rash and you just switch your center back here, you're in trouble. But as you watch, I stay as Paulinho, right? And I just drag him back, get him goal side, and just stay with Paulinho. I don't need to switch. So here, if he had timed that really perfectly, he could have got Aubameyang it. But that touch is too far. So this is like really micromanaging. This takes like experience. But I know this touch is too far. So I know, who's my left back? Jordi Alba, I think, will push back up to pull Aubameyang offside before he can true ball that, if that makes sense. So he can't physically true ball that. So I'm good to just stay with Paulinho. So he does come back. I'm still as Paulinho. So now, yeah, I'm still with Paulinho because he's just taking too long. My defense is too far back. And then he does have face shot, so I can just stay as Paulinho. I can just stay as him the whole time. I could go Jordi Alba, but I don't need to. I'll just watch his pass with Paulinho. Boom, I've won the ball back. So there, some people might have switched to Jordi Alba as he got on the wing, but I'm like, so first of all, I know it's Willian. Okay, so he's got 82 pace, right? But then second of all, you know, I'm willing to let him kind of knock it down here. And if he does commit to going down the line, then I'll switch to Jordi Alba and close him down. But until he does that, I'm quite happy to just sit with Paulinho and wait for that inevitable edge of the box pass, which you just know is coming. So you literally just stand here with Paulinho, wait, yep, got it, boom, we're on the counter. We're chilling, we're vibing. And then you can just chill. So I did score there. So let's pay attention to the kickoff. So I'm just doing a little press. I tackle him there, win the ball like just so easily. That was just a poor kickoff from him, to be honest. Alright, so I got an offside here, and he's going to start building up from the back. So with my forwards, I'm just kind of running at him, pretty much. But then once it's my CDMs, which I have here now, I'm just jockeying side to side, holding that L2/left trigger, depending on what console you're on. And, you know, I'm just sticking as my CDMs. I have no reason to switch here. I'll bring Sabitzer back a bit because he was too far up. Now, so why did I switch to my fullback there when last time I just stayed as my CDM? So now you see that true ball is most certainly on. He's in a lot of space. That's Vinicius with 95 pace or whatever he has and 5 skills. I know he can blitz past if I don't switch player and he's chilling. Whereas last time, remember, Jordi Alba was right up on Willian and Willian is way slower. So yeah, as soon as I see that pass go, I'm like, I need to switch to Semedo, and I know he's going to go down the line, so I just hold him there, and I let the game auto-tackle. Now, I do mess up this pass really badly. Really, really badly. But thankfully, I just pulled out the keeper and get away with it. There, I pulled out my goalkeeper, because there was no way I was getting to him, and I was just hoping he'd panic and lose the ball, which he did. So, we lose the ball in an attack. He's starting this counter-attack now on the line with Vinicius. Plays it inside. And so here, I use my centre-back, because if you watch, he's on the break here. So if he's on the break, and he's obviously got fast players like Aubameyang, Miles, whatever, that he's going to start making a run with Aubameyang. William might start making a run, and my CDMs are just too far up the pitch. There's no way I'm catching him here. So what I do is I catch him off guard with Klosterman and just pressure him and get the ball off him. So if you watch, I don't specifically go straight at him. I go slightly straight at him, but then also I run slightly diagonally up anticipating he's going to panic and lay it off to Aubameyang, which he does, and then I just intercept it, just like that. So you should never just run at a defender. I covered this last year, so you should always like cover from an angle that's also blocking the path. Otherwise, if you press somebody perfectly, they can still just get bailed out by the pass. You need like press them like one way, but then just kind of before you get to them, switch to block the pass. Because, you know, if you're getting pressed, what are you going to do? You're going to panic pass it away. So he's on the counter attack again here. He's with Vinicius. He kind of just slows it down and switches it. So I'm thinking, okay, there's not a lot he's doing. I'll just use my CDMs. He gets past me. Alright, cover that run briefly with Vinicius. Switch back to CDM. Just staking as my CDMs until I don't... There I switch to Tomato just to try and nick the ball off him, but then it's fine. Then here, right? So that's big, right? So he passes here, passes into Vinicius, and now you're seeing Aubameyang is in space, right? Now I assume I right stick switch, but LB actually would have worked because the second indicator is over Klosterman. But once that pass goes in, I know I have to switch out Sabitzer. There's no way I'm catching Aubameyang before he gets a shot off here. So I have to switch to centre back Klosterman. And not just the centre back, but specifically Klosterman, because he's closer to the left hand side, whereas Alaba is going to be covering Mahrez. So I switch to him, and then you see there's a gap here to Klosterman's left, like up. Between Klosterman and Alba, there's a huge gap that Aubameyang, obviously on his preferred foot, is gonna want to go. He's gonna try and maybe get an edge of the box finesse shot off, or he could potentially do like a fake shot and try to get in. So what do? Instantly switch to Klosterman and move up to block that space that he wants to run into. Boom, got the ball back, easy. Alright, so he gets the ball back here. He's got some decent passing, like build-up play. Does a little drive back in midfield to create space. But once again, I'm not switching off Sabitzer unless I have to. I'm just chasing him down. I can just run with him all day. I don't mind. I'm chilling. Do a little press. But see, now Sabitzer's useless. I have to switch to Tomato to cover this. He gets me there, so I have to switch back to Paulinho. He gets that ball through, but now I'm just going to cover him with Klosterman, just jockey a bit. He could have quite easily scored there, but there was no better defense I could have done. So once again, just hold CDMs, hold CDM, just jockey, passing lanes. Yeah, switch to the other CDM, kind of jockey. I'm second man pressing there, and it actually worked for once in a blue moon. Alright, so lose ball here, he's down from the back again. Now he sent Willian on a run, and I know that, but I know Willian's just too slow, so I stay as Paulinho. I switch to Sabitzer to try and get a better angle. I'm trying to cover that pass. He gets me with a nice like cutter, but I've still got Paulinho back, so I'm chilling. And I could have switched Alaba there earlier, but I actually don't because I know Aubameyang's not a threat there, and I know the most important thing is to stop this pass to Mahrez. So I'm not scared of Aubameyang kind of going around and shooting there. He's just not going to be... He just took the ball too far out wide there. Like a shot there just doesn't go in. So I'm like, I can say it's Paulinho. Because centre backs are going to go back by themselves. But if I let go of Paulinho, look where Sabitzer is. He's on the edge of the screen way outside. So CDMs won't like go back into the box unless you're like on one depth. So you'll have to manually do it. So it's more important to manually control a CDM into the box than to switch to say Alba here. And then Paulinho would have stayed outside the box, which would have made it way harder. Because then it would be a 2-on-2 essentially. But then once I see him here, trying to dribble with Aubameyang, I know Aubameyang's not the best dribbler. I know I've got Alba, and I have this pass covered. So because I have the pass covered to Mahrez, I can actually just go in and win this ball back. And that's what I do. Alright, so I got a goal kick here. He boots it up. Loses that ball to Talisca. But he keeps it. So once again, he's trying to go down the side with William, but he's just too slow. It's just not gonna work. So he goes back to Vinicius. Once again, I'm holding my CDMs. Just covering passing lanes with CDMs. I see he's trying to get Aubameyang in. So if you watch that minor switch, he didn't end up doing that pass, but if he had, I would have intercepted it. And I'll show you why. So Sabitzer is cool all till one more touch. Then Aubameyang's actually clean through if he does a good through ball. So I have to switch to Alaba and temporarily run it. So it's very subtle. But just watch me switch to Alaba, cover the run, and then switch straight back. So switch, cover the run, switch straight back. Then here, once again, there's a big gap between your center back and right back. And this year you have to manually switch to fix that yourself. Now, I could have stayed potentially as Sabitzer here and just try to run down and get to it, but it's not worth the risk. So it's better to manually select Klosterman and put him right back into the right center back position and get him back in position. You don't want him out of position. So I've got him back in position here. He's trying to do a lack of cat. I've got him covered. I go back to Sabitzer now because they're in position. So I go back to Sabitzer to try and tackle it. Put in tackle, get it back. So like, not only is it hold CDMs essentially unless you need cover run, but it's also hold CDMs unless you need to move players back into position. So if like your left back is just gone wild, you got to bring him back. If your right back is just as big, bring him back. If your center back is kind of bunched up, if your right center back is bunched up left, like Klosterman was there, grab him, manually put him back into the right center back position so you're just solid. Because otherwise they're just going to exploit the gaps, especially with just one true ball this year and it's over. Alright, so he gets kickoff here again. He completely choked the last one. See what I'm saying? I'm spamming offside trap from the kickoff. A lot of people do that, just bring up the team, but I mean, it's not really needed. I just do it out of habit more than anything. So here I'm just kind of covering the wing with Jordi Alba, and I switch back to a CDM as soon as I can. Paulinho's out of the play there, so I switch to Sabitzer. Keep switching. So here is where I messed up. Slightly, but I think I get away with it, right? So, as you can see, Klosterman's dragged down a little bit, so you got a little gap here between the right back and the right center back. And Aubameyang is running into that space. So I try to switch to Klosterman to move him up to cover that space, but I right stick accidentally to Semedo. But then I do switch to Klosterman and get it covered in time because he wasn't that far out of position. And that's a nice little turn, but I kind of predicted he was going to turn back, so I had kind of covered that. So he always likes to start his attacks out wide, but we're not worried about that. That's no problem, so we just chill with our CDMs. We're not scared of these runs down the line. They're not that good. We just tackle them with the CDM. Easy. So, like there. I lose the ball with Paulinho, so all my CDMs are too far. I need to stop this counter attack, so I have to play as the center back. And when you're playing as center backs, just jockey and hold your position and just wait for them to make a mistake. If they manage to skill past you, fair play. It is what it is. But don't let them just walk past you. Make sure you were in position and they beat you with skill. Don't defeat yourself. Make them have to get past you. If there's one thing you'll notice here, right? So this is my right CDM and Paulinho is my left CDM. So when the ball is on the right side of like my team, so up top for his right side, down low his left side, I'm that CDM. So they never got out of position. So here I'm the right CDM Sabitzer. And he like tries to get the ball back, doesn't work out. And so Paulinho is still at left CDM. And he passes from his left to his right, which is my right to my left. And this is the switch, okay? So I could just run at him with Sabitzer here, sure. But now he's playing on this side of the pitch, so you're going to want to go ahead and switch Paulinho. So as you can see, I switched Paulinho. So that Sabitzer stays up here and covers this side of the pitch, and then Paulinho covers his side. Because if you drag Sabitzer over here, Paulinho won't switch over to the other side that fast. And then boom, like all your CDMs on one side, he just passes to the other side and he's just got so much space. So once again, I switched back to Sabitzer there to defend the right side when they went back to that side. But then he's played a decent pass into Aubameyang and Sabitzer just isn't going to get there in time, so I switch to the centre back. I'm covering that. Then as soon as he passes it, I'm not dragging Klosterman to tackle him. I've switched to the other defender who's on the other side of the pitch. Cover it with Alaba, just jockey a bit and try to get it. Bam. Won the ball back. So attacking down the left side with Vinicius. Brings it back inside. But just watch the player switch. And I'm just making sure everybody's in position. I switched to Jordi Alba temporarily there. Just to make sure William's not in too much free space. You see I switched to him for a little bit. Just to get him back into space. So there I didn't switch to the centre backs because it was just Aubameyang on his own. And my defenders were backed off enough, so it wasn't too crazy. So I have time to switch to Spalino and just drag him back. But here you can see I have Polino. Plasma is kind of covering it. But it is Mahrez, so it's better to switch to Klosterman to cover it yourself. Just jockey, hold him, hold him, hold him. Yeah, back to CDM, just hold him. Block that passing lane to Aubameyang, block the passing lane to Aubameyang, block the passing lane, bam. Easy interception. He just knew he wanted to get it to Aubameyang there. So here he's like in with a true ball with Aubameyang, so I'm just covering it with Klosterman. Slide tackle are great this year. If you can learn to time them like that, they're so useful, especially when like it's a one-on-one defense and he's like true in on goal. Alright, so he messes up the last defense, wasn't really much to say. 2-0 win. Kept a clean sheet in Div 1 with this lovely Road to Glory team. It's the 200k team from the squad builder, if I didn't say that already. No shot on target conceded. Things you just love to see. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame.